What we're going to discuss tonight is almost a year's long worth of work, and I know the board and myself are really proud of the strategic plan that's been put together.
So we came up with our action statement that Linn-Mar will be an educational leader, and our graduates will be engaged and prepared citizens, and we will be a destination employer for recruiting and retaining the highest level of educational professionals. That is our goal as a district. We want our students to succeed. We want to recruit the best people here to make sure our students are succeeding. And we're going to accomplish that through these 5 priorities. And so you can see the 5 priorities there, and Clark is actually going to go through what those priorities are.
And so we want to get the community engaged as often as we can and in many ways as we can. We are very flexible in how to approach this because there's several different ways. Learning excellence. While we empower student achievement through unique differential learning opportunities, the learner experience, we will foster safe and healthy and respectful learning environment. The people and culture, we will build and retain a dynamic team that engages in the collaborative, data-informed learning culture. Our resource management will optimize the use of our financial, physical, and technological infrastructure, and that's really, really important.
So these are our key performance indicators for strategic priority 1, community engagement. We are creating a comprehensive advocacy plan. So what does that mean? We're identifying key focus areas and we're setting priorities annually. We'll have a 1-page informational flyer that we can share that outlines not only the statistics of the district, but what are our needs right now. That feeds right into the key indicator number 2, legislative advocacy. The school board and administration will participate in legislative activities annually to stay abreast of current and pending legislation and its impact on the district, as well as maintain relationships with elected representatives of the district. The 3rd key priority indicator, strategic communications. Develop a comprehensive strategic communication plan that creates unified and cohesive messages for the district and the buildings. This is something that the board has been working on the entire time I've been on the board, is improvement to communications. And that's something that the board has put a lot of priority behind, and now we made it super official by putting it as a key performance indicator in the plan. We want to grow our communications and really look at it from a strategic standpoint. And the last key priority under this first strategic goal is our enrollment trends. And we're establishing an annual review process for enrollment trends and the impact on the district. Now, that's not to say that we don't review this every year, because we do. Looking at more depth, especially as the laws have changed and enrollment has changed. Clark alluded to some of those changes in the law around enrollment. As those things change, we need to change how we evaluate it.
And so this gets into the academic side of the equation. But you can see goal or performance indicator 1 is around learning results, and we'll be using our state assessments to monitor how our students are doing. It's incredibly important right now post-COVID to ensure that our students are picking back up, learning to the degree that we saw prior to COVID happening. And we haven't rebounded completely from COVID. We are excited about the results that we saw from 2 years ago to last year, and we want to continue to build on that. We disaggregate our data a lot of different ways. That could be by cohort, that could be grade to grade, and so we can slice and dice it. Sometimes it tells a really nice story and we're happy about seeing the results we're getting. Other times we're not seeing the increases that we're wanting to see, but we are constantly monitoring those results. So 2.2, program and curriculum excellence. It's critical that we continue to monitor and review where our curriculum is. Really, our curriculum is based on the set of standards that the state of Iowa expects us to be implementing in our classrooms. So as those get updated, we want to ensure that the materials that we have to support those standards and the teaching that goes along with that are updated as well. Something that you may or may not have heard a lot about is high reliability schools framework. And for our buildings, They are involved with this work, and it's work that Bob Marzano has spent a lifetime as an educational research really cultivating and putting together this framework. And these 3 levels have about 21 indicators within them, and it is kind of a hierarchy. If you attended a conference around this, you would understand that you don't necessarily have to attend to it in level 1, 2, 3 order per se, but it makes a lot of sense to do so. There is some simultaneity in the work between the levels, but that's something I'm excited for the board to get to learn about and know more about, as well as just the larger staff. Our technology integration, we want to continue with that, continue to support our one-to-one capabilities to enhance our learning opportunities in the world that we're finding ourselves living in. And last but not least, college and career prep. Ultimately that's the goal. We get to the end of our career here at Linn-Mar, and we want every single child to stand on that stage and feel prepared to make whatever decision that they want. And whether that's education, employment, enlistment, we want them to be able to make that decision at the end of the day. As far as learner experience, we've got a couple of performance indicators here as well. We've got 4 of them, I believe. Yep. The Conditions for Learning Survey is a survey that we give every spring. You might remember as a parent that you get notification roughly around the month of April that your student is going to answer a series of questions. There's roughly 20 or 25 questions. This year we've adopted Character Strong curriculum, and our goal is over the next several years to get that implemented across the district in all of our attendance centers. Student engagement is always key. We know students aren't going to learn unless they feel deeply engaged in their work that they come to school to do each and every day. That not only is during the academic day, right? We want to see kids engaged in student clubs, extracurriculars, co-curriculars. Kids need a sense of belonging. They need to feel seen. They need to feel valued. They need to feel heard. And if we could ensure that kids were having opportunities like that all year long, that's just a great starting point. And then student supports, this is another lofty goal for us, but we're asking that our school counselors become, let's see, how do I say that? Britt, help me out here. Get certified in the ASCA model over time by the 28-29 school year. I think that's where we have that. When we move into people and culture, largely this would be Carla Christian as the Executive Director of Human Resources. So we've got several performance indicators here as well. People performance optimization, leveraging technology to gather people analytics for data-informed decision making. Recruitment, we aim to recruit the top talent in the area, in the state, and the nation, and increase the recruitment of minority faculty and staff. We know that research would suggest that when students receive education from teachers that look like them, they tend to do better. So as we think about what our demographics look like at Linn-Mar, we want to make sure that all of our employee groups are matching the demographics that we see in our student body. Workplace satisfaction and retention. We've been giving the last year, and then this year we're about to send this survey out. It's called the Upbeat Survey System to collect data, both qualitatively and quantitatively regarding workplace satisfaction. It's important for us to have happy staff. Happy staff means that they're with our kids, and we want that. We want them to be focused on their own mental well-being so that they can show up and be their best selves in front of our kids. Last but not least, recognition. What can that look like? What has that look like? How can we extend that? And we really need to increase those opportunities to celebrate the great staff that we have. A few other key learning objectives here are around employee relations, making sure that people feel treated equally and consistently. Around communication, establishing protocols to ensure staff, regardless of district location, feel like they have information that they want and desire. And then employee learning. This is really around professional development. And of course, you know that we have several professional learning days built into our calendar, but making sure that that really aligns with the goals that you see here stated in the strategic plan today. One more priority. I think who might turn it over? I'm going to turn it over to Britt, and she'll talk about priority 5 around resource management.
So resource management, as Clark introed earlier, is making sure that financially, our physical structures, our technological structures, all of our resources that help us educate are well maintained and well planned for. So our first key indicator, that long-range planning, that's essential to any district, to any success, is to make sure that your long-term plan secures your resources, outlines your infrastructure needs before you realize you really, really need them. Our second key priority is that master facilities plan, which I used an example of facilities for long-range planning, but having a separate facilities plan is crucial. We have 12 buildings right now, and as we continue to grow, we have to look at how is each building being maintained? How is each building sustaining its numbers? What do we need in the future? There are lots of ideas that people like to ask about: a second high school, a preschool building, another elementary school. When those things are needed is a question, but eventually, at some point, those are things that we have to talk about. So establishing that annual review process for all of our facilities. Are we maintaining the ones we have? What needs are we going to see in the future, and how do we get there? Making sure that, we talk about PEPL and we talk about PEARL and we talk about SAVE and our specific revenue streams for just facilities. What's the best way to utilize those funds to make sure that we're meeting all of our facilities needs for all of our students? Then we have facility security. So that fits into that technology piece as well. Implementing a prioritized safety and security plan that encompasses building security systems and district safety procedures and policies based on the state of Iowa's security assessment results. And then the last one there is operating efficiencies, and that's just making sure that we have a system that continually looks at, are we doing everything in the best way we can do? Are our operations and maintenance departments doing everything they can in the best way? What are our budget expenditures? If we're planning reductions, how is that impacting? How are we making adjustments to make sure that if we have to reduce something or we have to change something, what does that impact long-term and short-term? So just continually reviewing all of our efficiencies and how we operate to make sure that we're on the right track. I appreciate you.
Thanks for spending your Wednesday evening with us. I know it's a busy week with conferences, so thank you, everybody.